For our first story, we have. This may be our last Christmas and I, 37 female. And not really sure where to go from here with husband, 41 male. Advice? 2 Christmases ago my husband made me guess the entire month of November what he got me for Christmas. This went on until the week before Christmas when he got real serious one day and said I need to tell you something. He looked me straight in the eyes and said I was just joking with you, I never got you anything. I was crushed. We had a major snowstorm coming in 2 days before Christmas, so he was headed to the store. Knowing this, I scraped together the most amount of money I could find, like $10 minus 15 around the house, and begged him to get me something, anything, so that I'd have something to open on Christmas. He came back, handed me all the money I gave him, and told me that he didn't get me anything because he didn't want to inconvenience the cashier or the other people in line. He was using self-checkout. It wasn't until he saw how devastated he made me that he got me something. It was a beautiful eyeshadow palette and lipstick, but TBH, I've never been able to use it because every time I look at it, it brings back those memories. This year, 2 weekends ago, we went out of town, no shopping here, to get Christmas presents for everyone. We went to an arcade and then he took me to my favorite restaurant. Afterwards we went to a free Christmas drive-through light display that we found last year, one that was way better than any of the ones we've ever paid for. I thought it was a really good, fun day. Sunday we went out of town again cause an item he wanted was only available at a store 1.5 hours away, and it was also near his favorite drive-through light display, so we did that and also ate out. Last weekend I asked him to help me clean. His response was that if he didn't personally make the mess then he shouldn't have to help. That's just it though. Most of the messes were his. Soda bottles, food wrappers, dirty dishes. Every time I ask it's an excuse. He helps out, he says. What he does is he lets the dogs out and proceeds to sit outside, watching them for hours while he plays on his phone, and we have a fenced backyard. He changes cat litter once a week and at the same time trash. That's it. Meanwhile I do everything else. I've been feeling overwhelmed lately and told him I need help. I want to be able to sit down and relax too. In fact, I need to, as I'm almost at my breaking point. His response was, when does he get to relax? He had to take my ass all over the state buying me Christmas presents and seeing Christmas lights instead of relaxing. He then proceeded to take his ring off and throw it at me and tell me we are done and stonewall me for the rest of the night. Next day, he put the ring back on, but I haven't. Right now I'm just going through the motions. I don't really know what to do or say. Meanwhile he's acting like everything is normal. He's talking about seeing more lights. I'm just done with it. Christmas. I've asked him to take the presents back he got me as I don't want them. Not if he feels that way. Really though, it's not about the presents, it's about respect, valuing your partner, not making them feel like a burden or that you're obligated to do something. Wanting to celebrate them and your relationship. I finally realized why it is that I got excited for Christmas in November then lose interest when it comes around. I just don't know what to do now. Edited words, misspellings. That's the end of our first post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, he sounds awful. Give yourself an early Christmas present and retain a divorce attorney on Monday. Our second commenter says, I think you do know what to do. Our third commenter says, when he took off his ring and said he was done, that was your Christmas present. Time to shout out, oh my God, it's perfect. Exactly what I need. I love it. Thank you so much. For our second story, we have. My 26 female boyfriend 22 male tried to give me feedback because I accidentally hurt my baby. How do I make him understand it wasn't okay? A few hours ago my boyfriend 22 male and myself 26 female just got home from the store. Our baby was fussing since she was super tired and was crying. I was trying to breastfeed as we walked to the door. I also had to get the car seat because my boyfriend was getting our bags of groceries. I breastfed our baby in one hand while I carried the car seat in the other. He unlocked the door and let me walk in first. As I was walking in with the car seat, I accidentally bumped our baby onto the doorknob. It was a little loud, so I knew it hurt her and she started crying again. I turned to him as he walked in behind me and said, oh my gosh, I just hit her head on the door, did you hear that? I walked to our room to comfort her and try to soothe her. As I was doing that he started saying to me, well, why didn't you put the car seat down? I told him I was trying to, and then he said, why didn't you leave it outside? Keep in mind our baby is still crying and I start getting overwhelmed because I feel absolutely horrible that she's hurting and of course it was my fault. But we kept going back and forth and I finally just gave him a look of "Are you serious?" and just stopped talking. I started crying because I was overwhelmed with guilt. It is. He left me alone for a minute when he put the groceries away. Our baby calmed down and was just eating. After a couple minutes when he came back he asked why I was crying and why I was upset and I just told him I'm overwhelmed and I feel bad. He kept asking and I finally told him that I felt horrible for hitting her head and I was also upset that he kept telling me I should have done other things instead and questioning me why I didn't do something else. I told him I get that it was my fault, and I knew it could have been avoided but I didn't need him criticizing me in that moment. He walked off after that. About 10 minutes later he get in bed and I start getting ready for bed and I asked him if he was upset since he stops talking when he does. He said he's frustrated because I'm not open to feedback. I told him it's not that I'm not open to it but there's a time and place to do it. And that wasn't the time. He could have waited until later. And he said he'd rather do it then and there or he would have forgotten. I told him how he would feel if he's trying to calm her down after he accidentally hurt her and I'm just telling what he should have done. He said yay, that's fine, do it. I told him that's not being supportive and that I didn't feel supported in that moment. He stopped talking to me and after I kept saying to talk he said there's nothing else to talk about. I don't really know how to explain it to him how I feel. I already told him I feel like he's not understanding what I'm saying. I don't what to do honestly, I'm just very frustrated. The whole situation just sucks? How do I got about this? It feels like he's not open to feedback about his feedback? Edit. The car seat did need to go inside. I was getting her out of it when he said to take inside as well since he has work tomorrow. That's why I got it. We both didn't think of taking 2 trips. It's our first baby so we're trying our best together. Of course he has a right to be upset, it was the timing of his words for me. I just want advice on how to approach this with him now, whether you understand how I feel or if you understand more how he feels. The baby is feeling better after she was done feeding for those concerned. That's the end of our second post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, I think you both need to chill and let this one go. He'll mess up with the baby too and I guarantee you'll also say something laugh out loud. Just both give each other a bit of grace for small mistakes and a bit of whining or you won't survive having a kid. Also honestly at 22yo is gonna be immature so brace yourself. Our second commenter says, oh Christ on a bicycle. This thread. Look, most parents have stories like this, probably more than one story. This stuff happens pretty often with babies. You'd be amazed by the things I've read, entire Reddit threads devoted to parents telling stories about their accidents with their babies and toddlers. So although some people here are acting like they know better and this was preventable, the reality is that nearly everyone makes an error of judgment or has a clumsy moment. Plus once they are mobile, babies are pretty good at getting themselves hurt too. I guess some people got lucky and think they are superior somehow because nothing like this happened to them, but honestly it's normal for these things to happen. Although of course it's not good and nobody actually wants it to happen. Unless they are a total abusive, of course. So anyway, you two ended up arguing but ultimately it's because you were both freaked out by this. It probably would be a good idea to get baby checked out but expect to be asked to explain over and over again in case there are inconsistencies, etc., and to be asked separately too. They suspect everyone by default and it's not personal, it's the way things are supposed to work when a baby or child is brought in with an injury. It will mean hours and hours sitting around at the hospital for no reason though, but I guess better safe than sorry. Honestly, I can't even count the number of accidents my daughter had, one way or another. It's fine. You will lie awake at 2 a.m. obsessing over this for the rest of your life though, haha. But that's being a parent for you. Our third commenter says, hey, I just want to tell you about the time a mosquito had gotten in while my newborn son was nursing to sleep. I was worried it would bite him so I kept trying and failing to kill this thing as it buzzed near us. It landed on my baby and I slapped the mosquito, hard, making sure to kill it. Which, OFC, means I also slapped my baby. I felt so bad and cried for like 2 hours but I laugh so hard thinking about that now. I don't have any advice, just wanted to share that most of us have hurt our babies in silly ways so you're not alone. It was an accident and it happens. For our last story, we have My, 45 male, GF, 36 female, of 6 years kissed someone at a club last night and I don't know what to do. Apologies for the ramble, never did I think it would be me writing one of these and after no sleep. My GF went out with a few work colleagues last night for a Christmas party. Her and one other ended up in a club and she got very drunk. I was due to be the taxi home for them, but as soon as she got in the car she blurted out that she had kissed someone. But it was okay because I told them I had a boyfriend. I told her it's not okay. Later on in the journey she let it slip, it may have been more than one. She was back out drunk after throwing up several times, so then wasn't the time to really discuss it. I said I would sleep in my son's room but haven't been able to sleep. Our relationship is generally very good, but I have 101 thoughts racing in my brain and I really don't know how to even approach this. She's very affectionate normally towards me. We have one child each that lives with us and are very much like siblings. Update. She's got up, said I'm sorry I was the worst version of myself last night and can we talk later, as she needs to continue to sober up, deal with her hangover. I need to do some Xmas shopping, so I guess this will be later this evening. That's the end of our last post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, if you didn't put her age, I would have thought she acts like a teenager, not a 36Y. Our second commenter says, I have a zero tolerance policy on cheating, personally. I'm engaged and I occasionally like to go out and get drunk with my friends, even visit the club every once in a while, but I stick to my friends like glue and don't interact with other men at all. They approach me, I walk away. They try to talk to me, I tell them I'm here with my friends and to leave me alone. No matter how drunk I am, I never forget to be loyal, because my fiancé is the most important and precious person to me. Sadly, it doesn't sound like your partner feels the same about you. She was aware enough to tell that guy she had a boyfriend, but they kissed multiple times. Nope, goodbye, the trust would be broken forever. Our third commenter says, sounds like you value the relationship a lot more than she does. Sorry, OP. Nothing much to it but to have her explain her actions and see if you can accept the explanation or not. That's all for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.